There it is. It's on. It's live on X now. Twitter now.
Yeah, I see it too.
That means we're here. Let's talk immigration. Wednesday, February 4th.
Awesome. Another week in. I almost said hell, but I don't want to say it. But yeah, things are not getting better. It seems.
Right. It seems like it's getting better.
Yeah. So, what do we want to start with, Curtis? Do you want to give an update on the DV 2026 onboarding?
Oh, I should have those numbers handy, but I don't. Let me go find them. But while we get to that, U.S. Visa News has an update for the 75 country pause. Remember, there was just one exception, and the exception was dual national. Well, now a second exception, and it's adopted children. If you have an adopted child, not a biological child, they are not an exception, but an adopted children visa application is an exception.
That's the Nevada, but it's also, and I keep tripping over this, it says can qualify for an exception. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
So dual nationals applying with a passport are exempt from the visa pause, but adopted children can qualify. To me, that reads, yeah, you cannot sue us before the interview.
Well, they did the same update for national security, like on the 39 country thing. And so they say that they're going to do a case. That means you qualify for a case by case determination. So that means they're going to look at a baby and determine whether or not the baby is a national security threat. Like per baby, like one baby, maybe yes. As far as like public charge, if a baby is like a little chubby, maybe that baby is going to be needing too much milk. You know, I mean, like, yeah, it boggles me.
I was a fat baby. Of ridiculousness, yeah.
I wouldn't have qualified for an exception. So, okay, so. What's that thing we use internally? Teams. Okay, yeah.
On unrelated news, there's a Texas couple who gave birth to a huge baby, like 5 pounds. So that's probably public charge.
Not 5 pounds. 5 pounds isn't big. I was 7.
Probably wrong number, but unrelated.
Okay, everything crazy happens in Texas. DV signups, I'm showing we only have 18. Wait, is that right? Yep. 18 signups for the DV lawsuit as of the 30th. Oh, it's not updated. It's supposed to be updated every 3 hours. It's not. I don't know how many.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm not looking at the static page. That's my problem. I'm looking at the static page. Give me just a second to bring up the correct one. 30 signups.
30 signups.
Yes.
How long is onboarding going to be open? By when do people need to make a decision and complete onboarding?
For the DV case, we're talking February 28th.
Okay. Still some time to go.
Yeah, and that's stopthedvpause.com. But if you need a way to get to it, you can always go to our website first. You thought I was going to
under group lawsuits, there's the link to the DV onboarding.
Yeah, you got go over here and then go group lawsuits and then DV 2026, and then we've got a bunch of information. 24 days left for onboarding there. And then you click the register here, and then you go to the website we set up for onboarding, stopthedvpause.com. So
beautiful.
Multiple ways to pay here. I bet we'll get some questions about this. And then I see someone chatting in the back. Oh, That's the baby. Okay. Do you want me to share that, Chuck?
I checked the number is 8.5 pounds.
That's not a
Okay.
big baby. There's 10-pound babies sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the reason that story is interesting, Chuck, is not the size of the baby, the fact that the name the baby.
12 pound, 12 pound. I'm so sorry. 12 pound, 10 ounce and a half.
Okay, this is
So
we
that
got to
adds
get to the bottom of this story, and then we can move on.
So yeah, guys, unless the baby is in one of our lawsuits because it was born outside the US and now needs to be considered for a national interest exception.
I know. The baby's name
Let's
is
talk
Canyon.
immigration.
Oh yeah, let's talk immigration. We gotta stay focused. I blame Chuck.
Okay, so
Exactly.
DV, 20 more days, 20 more days, 24 more days left for onboarding.
Yeah.
Any questions you guys have, put them in the comments, and we'll get to that during our Q&A. Next, the 75 country pause. We have 2 more days left. 2 more days, Thursday and Friday. Onboarding ends Friday technically at midnight Pacific, right? So there's a full day on Friday for almost everyone, all time zones.
Yeah, and so you want to give an update on how many plaintiffs have onboarded on that case? You probably know more than me.
Absolutely. So we have 66 families onboarded as of right now with 143 individuals. So you two gentlemen, we're inching towards my prediction actually for the number of plaintiffs. And we currently have applicants from 17 countries, which is super exciting. I was hoping that we would get at least one applicant from each country that is subject to the 75 country pause and not to the travel bans. But we're still, I think we would need 24 more countries for that. But I'm glad to see that the number 17 different countries is a nice number already.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice number. It'll be a fun lawsuit. So a question I'm getting a lot is why we are filing the 75 country pause lawsuit in DC. Because many of you all know a 75 country pause lawsuit was filed in New York a couple days ago. The reason we are filing in DC is because the State Department prefers to be sued in DC. And that's one less thing we will have to fight about. Every time you add something new to fight about, you could delay the relief, especially if it's something they really, really want to fight about. And so venue is like the very first thing before a judge can really pay any attention. They have to get the venue right. So if we have improper venue, we've got a problem. And so I don't want to experiment with filing the case in New Hampshire or Idaho. Let's just go to DC because that's the State Department will not fight us for filing a lawsuit in DC.
Yeah. On that, since you brought up the New York case, I believe for many people there are questions out there right now. If the New York case, for instance, gets relief, right? Would that be nationwide? Would the entire pause be lifted for all applicants that are currently impacted, or would that be for named plaintiffs in the lawsuit?
Great question. So what they're asking for in that case, I don't know what to call that case, clinic or Catholic Legal Immigration Network, I guess. What they are asking for in that case is that the 75 country pause be canceled altogether for everybody, but they're not doing it as class action. that has a challenge in that the Supreme Court wants individual judges to individual plaintiffs to bring their cases before judges. And so I don't know how that's going to work out. Also, and you know what? I'm just going to share it because I'm on the side of transparency here. Here's their docket. They filed this on February 2nd, which was 2 days ago. And as of today, there's lots of notices of appearances by the attorneys that are representing the plaintiffs. There's the courts pushing back on some of the technical things when you file a lawsuit. The rules for when you file a lawsuit, how to do the proposed summons and stuff, it's difficult. It's really like almost never do we get everything right. So it's not a surprise that they're giving all these errors or whatever, but that's common. But as of now, they had to refile the complaint. They've got the summons. They did a request for the summons again. And there's still, I don't think they've issued the summons yet, but also they haven't filed a motion for preliminary injunction. So you're not going to get relief from this court until they file a motion for, until like, okay, judges do not issue orders on complaints. Judges issue orders on pending motions. And they don't have that yet. So to be fair, we don't have that yet either because we haven't even filed our lawsuit, but we have a schedule on when we plan to do that.
Thank you. And with these nationwide injunctions, I believe Trump v. CASA is a big question mark for many people, how that could play in, even if a judge wants to give an injunction and lift the pause as a whole. Would you mind expanding a little bit on that?
Yeah, and Chuck, you could correct me if I'm not getting it precise, but basically in Trump versus CASA, the Supreme Court ruled that judges only in rare situations can do what's called universal injunction, where they issue an order that applies to everyone that's even not before the court. They specifically did not find whether or not a universal injunction is possible under the Administrative Procedures Act. Is that correct? So there might be a pathway. The Catholic Legal Immigration Network, like us, are bringing multiple causes of action. And so maybe it will work. But I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like we're going to hit the track with momentum when we file our lawsuit. We're going to file the motion for preliminary injunction pretty fast, and would not surprise me if we get relief before the New York court.
Also, they might want to file a motion for class certification. So,
well, they didn't mention in their complaint, and we got in trouble for this back in 2021 before, where we all of a sudden in the middle of a lawsuit said, okay, we want to do class certification. And they're like, what? Your complaint doesn't say that. The complaint has to be on the caption, seeking class certification. And they didn't mention class certification anywhere in their complaint. So maybe they'll change their mind on that. Yeah. I didn't download the second complaint, but I think it's the same.
I have a very practical question on because there are different opportunities offered to challenge the pause, right? So we have the New York one that was just filed. Then of course we are onboarding currently. Then your colleagues from impact litigation are also currently onboarding, and I believe few applicants, especially those who are in very urgent situations, are thinking, okay, can I just join all the lawsuits so that I try in different courts, right? And we do have on our website that that's not possible, but could you explain to the applicants why that is not possible, that there's the rationale behind it?
Right. So there's a principle called forum shopping, and it's prohibited. That's where a plaintiff will go file their lawsuit in multiple courts and then find out who the judge assignments are and then pick their favorite one and go with that one. And whether or not that's your intention or not, that's what it looks like when you are bringing the same cause of action in multiple courts. And judges do not like it at all. I've had situations where that isn't what I was doing. In the PARS Equality Center case involving the DS 5535 scheme, I think Chuck worked on that with me. That isn't what we were doing, but it looked enough like it that the judge kind of scolded me and said, these are plaintiffs that were on this lawsuit and now they're on this lawsuit. So I don't recommend that at all. Now, at the same time, if you have an existing mandamus lawsuit and you're challenging like the delay,
the 75 country pause, for instance.
Well, you wouldn't be challenging the 75 country pause. If you have an existing mandamus lawsuit, you're not challenging the barrier that we're challenging.
Right.
So I think you could participate in this lawsuit and that one, but it would be cleaner if you dismissed your first lawsuit, but I think you're fine either way.
Okay. So, right. Point taken for everyone thinking about it. You cannot join two separate lawsuits challenging the same thing. But if you have a delay lawsuit, for instance, and now you challenge the policy, that should okay.
It should be okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh. Yeah. Also,
I would like. Sorry, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the points that we have the group case for 485 as well as the group case for 765. That we welcome impacted plaintiffs to join both.
Right. And the reason we can do that is in one case, you are challenging the impact onto your 485 application. And in the other case, you're challenging the impact on your 765 application. A minority of plaintiffs are in that situation, though, to be clear.
Yeah.
Most plaintiffs decide one or the other.
Yeah. And we jumped right in there without an opening. Should we talk a little bit about the USCIS lawsuits that we have already filed, what's going on there, and the ones that are coming up, and when the next filings are going to be?
Right. So I've got two things to show you all on that. Okay. Actually, one thing. These are the group lawsuits that we're currently onboarding. We talked about the DV, the first one. We talked about the 75 country pause, the second one, although onboarding ends in 2 days. And then the other three group lawsuits that we are onboarding are the second wave of a lawsuit for 765 applicants, for 485 applicants, and for N400 applicants. We have already filed one group lawsuit for each of those three categories, and now we're onboarding a second group lawsuit for each of those categories. My goal this month is to add a 6th group lawsuit there. Actually, it's going to take the place of the 75 country. When we take that one off the website, and that will be for someone else that's harmed or injured by the USCIS hold. I think it's going to be I-130, I-140s. I'm not sure.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Thank you. On the USCIS lawsuits, I think I saw a question a lot because USCIS in the updated policy memo, they added this possible national interest exception language for specific, I believe, professions, engineers, and so on and so forth. And applicants are wondering if it's worth, like, would you represent to request a national interest exception for a specific exception? And
no,
if
the
not,
reason
why?
we don't do that is, I'm sorry to cut you off. We have finite resources, both time and money, And we have to use our finite resources in the things that we believe in are most effective. And in the case of overcoming Trump's travel barriers and policies, that would be litigation. That would not be asking nicely, asking the monster, please, will you give us some candy? No, we're not going to spend time asking them nicely for things because it's not going to happen. No one's got a national interest exception that I'm aware of, and I literally talked to thousands of people. Has anybody got a national interest exception?
I haven't heard of anyone.
So just
I don't believe they exist until I see it with my own eyes.
Unicorns, right? It'd be neat if there were unicorns, but okay. Yeah, we're starting to get some questions.
Shall we? Too. Yeah, sure. Do you have any other large topics before we get into the Q&A?
Yeah, so for the USCIS memo lawsuits, and of course there's 6 of them. There's the one private one we're doing, and then the 3 that we have filed, one in Northern District of California, one in DC, one in Maryland, and then the one Mr. Cuck has and the one Mr. Hacking has. We are the first law firm to score the administrative record for the December 2nd policy memo. So this is the deliberative process that USCIS made in crafting that policy. This document is 59 pages long. That's it. It's not 1,000. It's 59 pages. I have thought about buying a used car before and had a thicker file on my research than the United States government did in implementing this policy. 59 pages. That's it. Actually, they added a page. They just amended it today. It's 60 pages now. Still, 60 pages. Here's what they considered when they put this policy into effect. They considered that it might cause delays for the USCIS benefit applicants, but they think it's worth it because of national security. That was their deliberative process. It's one sentence. They didn't consider reliance interest. They didn't consider the fact that the policy actually has national security harms. There are people that were going to be denied decisions and be put in removal proceedings that aren't now, there were doctors that were going to go work at hospitals that can't now. So we're going to have less doctors at hospitals. They didn't consider that. So lots of things they didn't consider. And I think that's one of our stronger arguments for winning motions for preliminary injunction on the USCIS hold. So that's a lot of information. So let's go to questions. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So we'll start with user GN1NF6EF3H. What about the first DV pause?
It is still in effect, and I predict it will stay in effect until a federal judge says no. So it's still there. And it's at USCIS and State Department. It's at both places. Okay.
In the DV 2026 case that we're offering, both applicants in both scenarios can join, right?
We're going to have plaintiffs on that lawsuit.
Yeah.
We're going to have plaintiffs on that lawsuit that are impacted by the USCIS side and plaintiffs impacted by the State Department side. And there's a debate in the Telegram group on whether or not we should sue Kristi Noem because she shot her dog. She killed her dog or something. And I was like, no, I don't want to include her as a plaintiff just because she shot her dog. And I just realized she's in DC and we're filing this in DC. So we're going to make her a plaintiff. It would make more sense. So.
Okay. Then the next question, and I believe that must have been sent while we were talking about all the lawsuits that are about to be filed. I heard that immigration judges are being replaced at the moment. How positive you are that this won't be a waste of time and efforts? Immigration judges are not the ones. Sorry, go ahead.
No, all 3 of us wanted to jump in on that one, right? Ravi is correct. Immigration judges are judges that are employed by the Department of Justice under EOIR that oversee removal proceedings, they're not real judges. When I see an immigration judge at the gas station, I don't say, "Hi, judge." Okay? They're lawyers who wear robes. I don't know. That's probably not, I can't go into removal proceedings now. I've ever said
But they're definitely not the judges that are going to preside over the lawsuits that are being filed.
Right.
I think
They're
that's
not
very
federal
important
judges.
for
I
everyone.
work in federal courts in front of federal judges that were appointed by United States presidents or magistrate judges who were hired by those federal judges that were appointed by U.S. presidents. It's different. Immigration judges, it's a different situation. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
I can't answer
Thank
questions
you.
anymore. I can't believe I said that out loud.
How long does it generally take from filing a lawsuit to actual hearing in court?
Chuck, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so the one of the proposal for the comprehensive immigration reform is that to upgrade those immigration judges to Article 3 judges, so that the immigrants facing deportation removal hearing would be receive more fair treatment.
Yeah, and I approve of that. Okay, you're right. How long does it take from filing a lawsuit to actual hearing date? Okay, forever if it's just all you did was file the lawsuit, because there's not going to be a hearing because you filed a complaint. If you want a hearing, you have to file a motion. So for our big group lawsuits, after we file the complaint, we're going to file a motion for preliminary injunction within 2 to 3 days. On that motion for preliminary injunction, government's going to need to answer in 14 days. File response and opposition. We're going to have to file a reply to that. And then the judge can, with or without a hearing, issue an order on that motion for preliminary injunction. So, I mean, there's been amazing situations where we've pulled that off in fine was 28 days. What was Young versus Trump?
58.
58 days. And those are our records, but I like people to set their expectations at 3 to 4 months. Let's give the time for the judge to make a reasoned decision, because a reasoned decision would be in our favor. A rushed decision, maybe not. But if the judge seriously considers the issues at hand, we're going to prevail. 3 to 4 months is that realistic expectation.
Thank you. Then the next question is if the DV pause will be open soon. I assume meant to be lifted.
That's not the plan of the administration. And so if it is, it's because a judge does it in our lawsuit, because no other lawsuit is challenging the DV pause. Just our group lawsuit. That's the only one that's challenging it.
Very true. Onboarding is open for 24 more days.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put for my family in Afghanistan, an I-730 follow to join refugee application, that is. 2 years ago, it got approved and they sent the case to NVC. I did not get any update. Can you help for that or not?
Okay, I'm going to give an answer, and then Rabbi is going to correct me because she's sort of an expert in this space. I don't think it's realistic for an Afghan to be entering the U.S. while Trump is president, because besides the travel ban, he's turned off the refugee program except for South Africans, and then he's got the 75 country pause. There's a point where it gets too many barriers. And so I just want you to have realistic expectations. I think you got a 3-year hold. You got to wait till Trump's gone. So Rabia, you got a more optimistic.
No, that's unfortunately absolutely correct.
Okay.
It's three impossible. So for Afghans, they have put layer over layer over layer in barriers and hurdles. there's even if those presidential proclamations wouldn't exist, nobody talks about it, but there's also from November 27 this complete visa issuance stop, right? That Rubio put out, that then was overwritten by the presidential proclamation. But even if the travel ban gets taken down, you still would have to take that down, I assume, as well. And the 75 country pause. It's layer over layer over layer for Afghans. We're very sorry, and there are multiple organizations still trying to get any foot in the door with the administration to reopen pathways for Afghans, but so far there's no seat on the table offered.
Yeah, if somebody is applying for a 730 for their family, I mean, that means they have a green card, right?
Or are a refugee in the US or approved asylum.
Right. So you're in the US. I was just going to recommend that you let your member of Congress know how this is impacting your family, because, you know, that's one of the reasons members of Congress don't always do the right thing, because they don't know what's really impacting their constituents. So no harm in letting your members of Congress know what's going on with your life.
Yeah, very true. A DV 2026 question. If the lawsuit is successful, will visa procedures be required for the winners even after the end of the fiscal year?
The answer to this question is no. I am intimately aware with the answer to that question, because it was my lawsuit, good luck, our lawsuit, good luck, versus, was that Trump originally and then it became Biden? No, it was always good luck versus Biden. The lawsuit that was appealed by the Biden administration to the Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Circuit Court of Appeals found that unused diversity visas cannot be reserved for use beyond the end of the fiscal year. That was an appeal that actually canceled unused visas that had been granted by 2 different judges in 3 different lawsuits, 4 different lawsuits. Actually, if you could count the consolidated lawsuits, probably about 10 lawsuits. But then we appealed it again to what's called en banc, to the whole all the judges of the DC Circuit, and they confirmed it. So that, as far as the DC Circuit is concerned, federal judges cannot reserve unused visas for beyond the fiscal year. Okay.
Did anyone, maybe a silly question, did anyone ever count how many pages of court filings you guys produced for this lawsuit? Because you really fought it until there was no other avenue available.
It was definitely thousands. I mean, the complaint itself for Good Luck was 5,000 pages. So
wow.
So
okay.
A lot of plaintiffs.
Thank you. Yeah. Lucas James Perry is asking, is it likely that Rubio will try to hide behind foreign affairs policy as a shield to hide their reasoning for the DV pause?
Yes.
I want to take that. Rubio is the shield. Rubio is every job possibly available on the continent.
Yeah.
But yes.
But that is one argument that the government always makes, that they're like, this is a foreign affairs issue. The court shouldn't have anything to do with it. And it's not an argument that they typically win, especially in this case. It wasn't a foreign affairs issue. The DV pause is based upon actually, isn't it weird? Isn't it based upon some guy from Portugal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happened domestically in the US.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Which was a crazy example, because, you know, there's lots of DV selectees in the US. There's a million by now. And then they just picked this random one from Portugal. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. But it's not a foreign policy thing.
Yeah. All right. I'm in one of the lawsuits, USCIS lawsuits, from what it sounds, and my work permit has already expired. If the PI is not granted by the judge, what is the best course of action after that? A separate mandamus?
You are not giving me enough information. I really love US because I don't know what your status is.
Well, probably F1 OBT. I'm not sure. That's all
Maybe
pretty
if
fine.
we can get a follow-up, a follow-up comment with the status. The whole question again as a comment with the status, and then you guys can respond to that based on that.
Yeah.
Cool. Then on the country pause, my attorney advised on a mandamus for my pending I-140. Could you advise on differences and chances in comparison to a group lawsuit?
Okay, so your attorney advised you on that because that's what we traditionally do when there's a delay with a benefit decision, whether it's at the USCIS or State Department. But this is not what's happening. This is not just a delay. They stopped. It's a suspension. They can call it a hold. They can call it a pause. It's a suspension. Okay. So the traditional mandamus lawsuit model, you sue the government and the government checks the file and says, oh, we'll just push this button and then they get the benefit. That's not going to happen here. It's not happened yet. We know this because we have probably 8 pending individual mandamus lawsuits that were in process when this policy hit. And we're seeing how they play out. How they play out is the government's asking for extensions based upon the policy memo. There was a Judge Westmore in the Northern District of California last week that pushed back on the government to say, you know what, I'll give you a little extension, but really your own policy, you admitted in your briefing that you could make exceptions for cases in litigation. So, well, here we are. So I don't know how that's going to work out with cases in mandamus lawsuits. I'm advising people to participate in group litigation because if you want a decision on the merits, you need a motion for preliminary injunction. That's extremely expensive for an individual to bear that burden with an individual case. But with a group case, it's more affordable. So,
yeah. Also, we discussed earlier this week that we are planning to open probably I-140 group case maybe in March. So stay tuned.
Yeah, by the end of the month, we're going to launch that. But if you want to be notified when we launch it, our website can be a little tricky because we got so much going on. If you go to lawsuit interest list, I'm not sharing my screen, am I meant to. Okay. You go to lawsuit interest list, and we've got one interest list there, and it's for people that are impacted by that should say both policy memos. I need to update that.
But you can sign up and select your benefit, and then you get notified when a lawsuit for you
right
gets
there,
offered.
Select 140, right?
Yeah.
That's not what I selected, but that's what you would select is 140. Here, 140. Okay. Speaking of which, if you're waiting on a green card and you're from one of these 40 countries, I think those are on hold too. I've got a couple examples that were exceptions, I think, where they accidentally, like they said they printed it, but I don't know if they mailed them yet. But I think that green cards are on hold too. And the way you...
you mean for immigrant visa arrivals?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they're not.
You think they're not? But I've got
two of our clients that entered in early December received them now, one 2 weeks ago and one this week, and that's a normal time frame. Green card production takes 90 to 180 days. So
received them in the mail or saw on the USCIS where they've been produced?
Yeah, no, received in the mail.
Okay, I've heard that like 1 or 2 had, but I don't know. I'm talking to a lot of people that haven't got their green cards too. So let's worst case scenario, you sign up and then you get your green card, and then so you don't need to, you ignore us when we tell you we're onboarding a lawsuit. Oops, I accidentally. I lost your question. Which one's the next one?
That is unrelated to the current group lawsuits, but just out of curiosity. Can there be a group lawsuit for the regular mandamus lawsuits if a few plaintiffs get together and face delays due to AP?
Where's Jessica Arena? So my colleague Jessica Arena in Northern District of California at San Francisco, she does group lawsuits like this regularly for USCIS benefits, and they work. Another colleague, Matt Galati, does it as well. We typically don't do group lawsuits for USCIS benefits. We do group lawsuits for State Department delays, and we usually challenge an unlawful policy at the same time. You need things to be in common. You need the petitioners to be in the same court district, or you need the delays to be the same amount. You need the same visa categories. You just need, the more you have in common, the better. But that can make mandamus lawsuits more affordable if you group up, but just don't be grouping up with people that are not like that have the opposite situation.
Okay. Thank you. So this is Shaba. This was the pending I-140, where the attorney suggested a regular mandamus for the pending I-140. It's a perm EB3.
Yeah, join the interest list.
For I-140?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. If my visa pause is lifted due to the 75 countries lawsuit, but my administrative processing continues, how long will my visa be valid?
Your question does not make sense. You don't have a visa.
Yeah,
your visa doesn't get issued until AP is complete.
Yeah, if there's security vetting still pending, they're not going to give you a visa. They don't give you a visa till
so also the 1 year thing that's it. I think that's probably what he's asking, that he needs to contact the consulate for like once every year to keep the case alive.
No, that's a different question.
That's a different question, yeah.
Yeah, I see why you said that, but this person's just confused, thinking that if we had prevailed in the lawsuit, that they would issue you visas even though you have not removed the other barrier. That's not going to happen. If
your visa gets issued, you get on the next flight to the US. If your visa doesn't get issued, then you may still be in AP.
Generally, yeah. Okay. So,
do you guys expect any news will be announced in March?
Well, I don't know. There's been like 7, 8 different immigration policies throttling immigration since November, December, January. So that's in 3 months. So I would expect for an entire month of March, there's going to be some kind of, maybe that's the month that they decide that they're going to send vans around to pick up all the immigration attorneys and put us in warehouses or something.
Or just kidding, they will announce to ban all 200 countries.
Okay, this is going downhill quickly. Should we move on to the next?
Let's talk about, like, realistically. If you think about all the things that they've banned and they keep going, what's the next thing they're going to do? I don't think they're going to come get us next. They're not going to come get us till summer when it's hot, and they're going to send us someplace hot. I just know it. Desert. Adelanto.
Yeah.
No. What would be the next thing? I hadn't thought about it, and we need to be thinking proactively.
I think there's going to be a continued increase in countries. We went from 19 countries to 39 countries to 75 countries. So there will be a new reason. There will be a new tragic incident in the United States with a person from some country, and then that is going to be used to add the next 25 countries.
Right. The 75 country also is going to be applied in the USCIS, I bet, with USCIS.
That probably too.
And I like what you're saying too. Like in the old days, what they would do, and this was in the movie, the series House of Cards, they would have a police scanner just waiting for the next victim that they were going to use for the new policy. So what they're probably got a Google News alert for the next time somebody from some country that they weren't able to wrap up in this.
Yeah.
Maybe Egypt, because Egypt's got away.
Egypt is already in the 75 country.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So
they already caught Egypt.
Another thing that may happen is that the state will try something. For example, Florida already issued like 2 years ago, they created something for the foreign students. And for just a few days ago, the Texas governor issued an order for all the Texas government employees and the state university to stop sponsoring new H-1Bs.
Right. So going back, okay, I know Rabia wants to get away from the dark space, but like New Year's Eve, the White House tweeted out a meme to say, wouldn't it be great to have 100 million deportations? And that would mean deporting basically every immigrant in the U.S., documented or undocumented.
Plus some 100,000 US citizens, right?
Yeah.
But they are currently failing on that. They fail to meet the quota and trying to deport the people with no criminal background and stuff like that. Also kill people.
Right.
But there are also every tweet that sounds ridiculous comes with a new policy eventually, right? I mean, first he says he wants to ban all immigration from third world. I call them developing countries, but he calls them third world countries. And a couple of weeks later, you have 75 countries banned. I mean, it always sounds outrageous and ridiculous, and then you suddenly face this as a reality.
Yeah, it's like a frog boiling in a pot. It just gets hotter and hotter until it's too late. I hope people aren't tuning in for like a moment of optimism or something.
Well, we're still here.
Shall we move on to the next question? Leave the dark space. I think.
Okay, let's leave the dark space.
Curtis mentioned once the deadline for the 75 country pause lawsuit closes, another group lawsuit will be underway. Can we get more clarification on the I-130 group lawsuit Curtis briefly mentioned?
Yeah. Gosh, people listen to everything I say. So USCIS has policy hold from December 2nd and also January 1st that they are withholding benefit decisions for applicants from 39 countries plus the Palestinian Authority, so like 40 countries. And we have filed these group lawsuits for people that have pending 485, 765, and 400s. And now we're going to offer a group lawsuit. And I think it's going to be one group that includes 130 and 140 because they're very similarly situated. Some are in the US, some are not. The difference is with I-130, there's usually more family separation involved. With 140, there's employer separation from their employees or something, which from a capitalistic perspective is just as sad as family separation, right? Anyway, yeah. I don't know. So that's the lawsuit we're talking about. I-130s, I-140s.
And just in case what the fish fry has not been following the other lawsuits, is it going to be offered similarly to the other USCIS lawsuits, meaning there's onboarding, then everything gets prepared, and then a complaint gets filed and the preliminary injunction shortly thereafter?
Mm-hmm. That's the way we do it. That's how we roll.
And sign up the interest list on our website.
Yeah, sign up on the interest list now if you want to be notified then, or you could follow me on Twitter and put on your notifications to where your phone dings whenever I send a tweet, no matter what time it is, and make sure you do the override to where it'll wake you up if you're asleep. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Okay. This question, I assume it's for DV 2026. Would people in the US benefit from this lawsuit since the deadline is September 30th and processing can take a long time?
Yes.
Especially, yes.
I need to make sure you understand something, Mr. DV 2026 selectee inside the US. You cannot get a DV 2026 green card on October 1st, 2026 or after. You have to get that by September 30th. Just because you're in the US doesn't mean that your 485 application can go on and on and on. So if you get to August and you still don't have it, you need to be calling us or another immigration attorney that does litigation, actually July, because you need to get into court, you know. But actually, if you do the group lawsuit, you're sort of doing that anyway. It's a lot cheaper to do the group lawsuit. You want to do emergency litigation in August, you're going to be giving me $10,000, $15,000. So go ahead and sign up for the group lawsuit. It's probably the smart path.
Beautiful. Thank you. Another DV question. Why isn't the lawsuit filed as a class action? Wouldn't that benefit everyone?
Your second question answers the first. The reason I say that is if it benefited everyone, why would anyone give me money? And if no one gives me money, how am I going to pay my enormously talented team to keep working for me? You know, I have to do this work. We have to pay employees, paralegals, attorneys, administrative personnel. So I mean, it's a business, and I don't know how to monetize a class action. There we go.
Also, Trump v. Casa.
Well, I think Trump v. Casa allows for class actions, though. I don't know. I haven't seen that brief yet. So, okay, same person, different question.
We went through both.
Okay.
You used the second to answer the first. Imran is asking, declarations that are being submitted to the courts are being picked in which manner, showing the most hardship of the individuals?
Being picked? Who said they're being picked? Okay, judges rely on law clerks. Good federal judges usually have 1 to 3 law clerks that will review the filings and help them write the briefs, usually do the first drafts and stuff like that. And if you prepare a declaration that's an exhibit for a motion for preliminary injunction in one of our cases, it will get read by the law clerk, if not the judge. But here's the deal. We don't take a group of plaintiffs to court so a judge could say, you get a visa, you get a visa, you get a visa, everybody gets. No. It's not like that. The issue before the court is whether or not the government is doing something wrong. The focus is on what the government's doing, not what you're doing, not on your eligibility. And so there's a misunderstanding here. Whoever has the most hardship amongst you, it's not a competition, but whoever does, that's great. We're going to use you as an example. We're not using you as an example to give you a special benefit over the other plaintiffs. We're using you as an example, whoever has the worst hardship, because it is in the best interest of everybody to prove what the government's doing wrong.
I think the question is not about people being picked for visas. The question is about declaration submission to the court within a group, how that selection works. That's how I read it.
Well, first of all, we collect declarations for the plaintiffs that onboard quickly. The plaintiffs that wait to the last day to onboard of the lawsuit, we don't have time to get a declaration from you. You made that not possible because you decided to hop on the train as it started to leave. So for us to have time to work with you on the declaration, we need you to onboard quicker.
Thank you.
Okay.
Barry is asking, if in the future you are hiring paralegals, what are the requirements? Maybe we can do an Urdu live stream.
Great question, Barry. I like to hire former clients, actually. Right now we have A few, I'll say that. I don't know the number. At least 4 that I'm thinking. But you always send us a resume. I've never had an Urdu paralegal, and I would love to have an Urdu paralegal. That would be great.
Thank you. Shanti is asking, I had interview on January 8. Consular put me on 221G because of the DV lottery pause. And while in 221G, can I marry and process spouse separately after entering the US?
75 country pause is the only one that's impacting you. So that means you must be from a country.
Lottery pause.
I mean, the lottery
DV.
pause, you're not from a travel ban country, or you would
January 8, there was no 75 country pause. That went in effect January 21. Right. So the 221G on January 8 was DV lottery pause.
I would like to know what country you're from, but in the absence of knowing that, I just want to let you know that it's going to be a 3 to 5 year process for you to bring your spouse after you enter the US. So keep that in mind. My advice is, if you want to build a life with somebody, don't plan it to happen in 5 years. Go ahead and marry. If you're in love, go ahead and get married. And
can they use a follow-up to join to before the visa is processed? Can they use I think they can use a follow-up to join to apply for the DV, right? Follow-up to join.
I've read that, but I've not seen it done. But here's why it's not done. September 30th is over. Here's what you do. You haven't been issued a visa, so they could still reopen your DS-260 and add another application. So go get married. You got to do this in order. Don't add them before you get married. That's a disaster. If you're in love, you want to build a life together, go get married. Contact the embassy to open your DS-260 so you could add your spouse and add an application, and then your spouse can go interview too, and you all could be on the same path.
Thank you. Do you think there's a high chance that the pause will be lifted before the end of the period? I mean, I assume that means the end of this administration.
No. I don't think that's what you're assuming that's what that means, but I don't think that means. I think that there's this misinformation that's floating out that it's a 90-day pause. I keep reading that, and I'm just like, where is coming from? Or imagining this?
Because the internal guidance, because they always request internal reports within 90 days.
And people,
but that's only internal, and they're also never provided within 90 days.
Immigrants have the most optimistic eyes. They read in things that'll be good in a sentence that's like not always good.
So I'll say no unless you join one of the lawsuits.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah, the Trump administration told us on New Year's Eve what they wanted to do, and it's not be friendly to immigrants. Okay.
Yeah. Maximus is asking, are you planning to file any lawsuits specific to EB-5?
Great question. Not just for EB-5, but if you have a pending EB-5 application and you're impacted by the 75 country pause, you are eligible to participate in that lawsuit. And I want some EB-5 applicants participating because I want to show the diversity of harms. And also, an EB-5 makes a very unique argument that's different from the way they did in the New York case, where they say, hey, look, everybody has a little public charge issue, but it's no big deal. EB-5s have no public charge issues. So what is the point of suspending your visa issuance? I mean, it makes no sense. So your participation in the lawsuit would help us to show how the lawsuit is arbitrary. And if you didn't have money, I probably wouldn't charge you, but you do. So I will. So I do urge you to participate in the lawsuit.
Thank you. Next question from Maximus. Recently, on January 28, a judge ordered a temporary restraining order against the government regarding the visa pause that affected a child adoption from Ghana. A few days later, the State Department issued adoption waivers for everyone. No, they didn't. I feel that the 75 country pause may not actually be permanent if they are willing to make such waivers.
You could feel like that. I don't agree with you.
Thank you.
Don't
give them ideas. That was 14 minutes ago. Was it the dark space you went 14 minutes ago?
Particularly what they're going to do next.
We'll not re-up that. Following my question regarding administrative processing, so it doesn't make sense to participate in the 75-country lawsuit if my case is still an IP?
I didn't say that. You have to remove all the obstacles to your visa issuance, not just one or two. So if you face AP and you face a pause, you got to get rid of both of those barriers. So I do recommend that you participate in the 75-country lawsuit. And there's always a possibility that the judge, as part of her relief, orders that the government takes good faith efforts to give final adjudications to plaintiffs. That's what we're hoping for. And if that happens and your case is in AP, maybe you would benefit. Maybe not, but maybe. So I would participate in a group lawsuit.
Thank you. And do you plan to make one more lawsuit on the 75-country ban in pause in 1 to 1.5 years?
I'm not going to be alive in 1.5 years. Are you all living through the same thing I'm living through right now? We are going through a lot here in the United States, okay? I'm not planning. I don't have a single 1.5 years, 27, 28. My calendar for 2028 doesn't have anything on it. Okay. I'll just put it that way.
One and 1.5 year later, maybe it's 225 country ban.
My fear is I've got thousands of immigrants in the US, probably like 5,000 or something. My fear is the last part of my career is going to be trying to smuggle them out of the United States for their safety and security. That's my fear. That's the direction this country's going. And Rabia said, don't be dark. I'm sorry.
We're a gay couple. My husband is in Pakistan and he's not feeling safe there. It's been 14 months that we filed the I-130, but no news. I'm a US citizen and freaking out here as there's a visa ban.
Okay, hold on here. 14 months for an I-130 and you're not subject to the USCIS holds. So in my opinion, that is unreasonable delay and we could file a mandamus lawsuit. Depending on where you live in the US, frankly, we might be able to file in the district court where you live. That's ideal when you're suing USCIS. They prefer to be sued where you live, but you could also sue where the I-130 is being processed. But I would recommend in that case, an individual mandamus lawsuit to get you past the barrier you're stuck at, because you can't even complain about the new barrier because you're not there yet. Unless your I-130 is approved and you didn't tell me, right? But you need to get that I-130 approved so it could get to NBC so you could be part of the other barrier and we can get past that.
Yeah, I believe normal processing time is 14 to 15 months at the moment for
people that wait around. Yeah. For people that come to me after 6 months and we sue, I think that their processing is quicker.
Yeah,
USCIS as a defendant does not like to fight on a mandamus lawsuit.
Yeah, that's true. All righty, so it's already past the hour. I would say we take a few more questions, but no more that are not already submitted. Would a writ of mandamus from someone from a banned country win even with the pause?
There's something they teach us at law school called compound questions, where you're trying to ask two questions of the same question, so I can't give an answer. That's what's going on here. You're mentioning a famous country and a pause.
Resubmit the question with your country,
and then we'll have time to go back. Well, all I'm saying is there's a lot in this question that doesn't get a yes or no question, but you don't do a mandamus lawsuit from a banned country unless you are an Iranian minority and qualify for an exception.
Okay.
And you still have the pause. So,
thank you.
okay.
What the fish fry is asking, does it make more sense to wait for the I-130 lawsuit or sign up for the 75 country pause? Will the I-130 also address the pause? Also, what about fears of retribution I and others have? Okay, let's do the first. You only qualify for one or the other at any point in time. So you either have a pending I-130, then the I-130 lawsuit is available for you, or you're already with an approved I-130 and you have a DS-260 that has been submitted already, then you qualify to join the 75 country pause. And the second question, Curtis, I know that's your favorite, fear of retribution from the government.
Right. We haven't seen that before. Since the nation's founding, we haven't seen the U.S. government punishing people for using the federal courts. And I don't anticipate that's going to happen. It is more likely to happen now than ever before, I guess, but it would be unlawful. Why would somebody that works for the government that's making $25 an hour or $30 an hour, why would they break the law to get back at you because that's what Stephen Miller wants? They're not that into you. I'm sorry. They're not going to do that. You're not that important to them. People that work for the federal government are just going to follow the rules. And the rules are never going to say, retaliate. They're not going to say that. That would not be lawful.
Thank you very much. Then we have Wayne, and I actually messed up earlier. The question was different. So the $2,000 fee question for the DV case is if he doesn't get the DV visa but enters the US later on with a different visa, is the fee still due?
No.
Okay, thank you. Based on a convo I had with Curtis, if you join the 75 pause lawsuit, you are on the hook for $2,000 regardless of win or loss. If you get your visa and enter the US, yes. But Wayne just said if he doesn't get the visa, that's a different scenario.
Correct.
Thank you for sharing the info. Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out. And this is just a conversation between them. My case number is around 27,000, and I'm not sure if I'll become current this year since it's moving even slower than last year. Why do you think it'll be current by June or July when it's barely moving?
This is a very good question. And it's also, if you want to debate this question, I recommend you join one of Britt Simon's Telegram groups or follow him on his YouTube show, because he talks about this a lot, and we are have different views on it. I predict that the visa bulletin, as you know, that most DVs will become current by summer, and I base that upon what happened in 2020 and 2021 with a similar situation where the issuance of visas was being throttled by a policy, but the algorithm was too dumb to realize what was happening and thought, oh no, supply and demand. I need to supply more DVs because they're not issuing enough visas. And the algorithm made everybody current. I think that's what's going to happen again this year. And that way,
thank you.
Yeah, that's my theory. So I'm out of air, so we should probably wrap up.
Okay, then let's close. There are actually two questions that I would like to get to really quick. But first of all, Curtis, you need to know that you are the Schindler's List of 2026.
Good to know.
That's good to know. Then what are the chances to win these kind of lawsuits? Did someone ever won this type of lawsuit against the US government? Oh, plenty.
Yeah.
Curtis, your biggest successes.
Do you know any plaintiffs that have ever won a motion for preliminary injunction against?
I'm one.
Yeah. So
I'm living proof.
Yeah. So we have filed many group lawsuits challenging unlawful policies by the first Trump administration, by the Biden administration, and won injunctions against both. So this is not the first time it's ever happened. And so the answer is yes, that has happened a lot.
Okay, thank you. And this one, as the pause is going on, but the embassies are conducting interviews on a daily basis and they are not taking passports and keep saying we will not keep your passport due to the visa pause. In some cases, applicants ask them how long can the pause last, and the visa officers reply maybe 2 or 3 months. The question is, let's suppose the pause will finish after 3 months. But after 3 months, will they email thousands of applicants together to get their visas issued? I don't see the rest.
Okay, but there's some stuff here I want to talk about. First, the foreign service officers, bless them, I love them. They're not in the U.S. They don't see what's going on with Stephen Miller's agenda in the way that we do. I think they hold out hope it's not getting worse. If they knew it was getting worse, they'd probably leave. They'd probably quit. So they like to be.
They also don't know. They get surprised by these terrible things. They open their computer in the morning and whoops, a new travel ban is there. So for them, it's just as terribly shitty, because then they are scrambling, having to implement something that doesn't even have clear guidance. Right.
So like from 2020 to 2025, 2024, I'll say. Consular officers were asked how long does AP average last, and most visa applicants would ask consular officers, and consular officers would say 3 to 4 months. And we finally me and Chuck got a hold of the statistics on this, first from a declaration from Carson Wu and then one from Robert Jacob, and it showed that like 70,000 pending security advisory opinion requests were stuck, and 10% of them was over 2 years. And I shared that on Twitter right when I got it. And the very first comment was from a consular officer that was experienced that said, I had no idea. This is somebody who told people for years, it's going to be a few months. They had no idea. The reason I tell you that story is because consular officers are not privy, like Rabia said, to what's actually happening. And so I wouldn't trust their optimistic view.
Yeah.
Second part of your question. It's a really good point. Will they email thousands of applicants together? No. This is creating a huge backlog that will take years to unwind. So it's one more reason to participate in litigation.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a good sentence for the closing. I believe that's what we'll be doing for the next 3 years, hoping and praying that the American citizens vote smarter this time. Until then, getting visas is a fight.
Chuck, what are you going to say?
So there's a special election in Texas here, northern Texas. That's right, pure red. That's they elected the Democrats in like last time it happened is 50 years ago. So I'm remain hopeful.
That's a good positive note. You are so good with positive notes. I wanted to say something else, so I'm just going to let it be there. That's good. Things are getting better. It's all going to be great. So,
Texas leading the way to make immigration better again.
Yeah,
that sounds like something.
So I have a hearing next Tuesday on the lawfulness of the policy memo, and so I don't know. I might be traveling on Wednesday. I don't know yet. So. Yeah, let's go ahead and say
we'll talk to the back office that because I'm pretty sure on Wednesday a lot of people would like to hear how Tuesday went. So maybe we try to make you available at this time.
Okay. I'll just plan my travel appropriately. So I'll be here next Wednesday. Let's talk immigration episode. I don't know, like a whole bunch of numbers. Not like Mr. Hacking, though, who's like episode 1 million or something. But I don't know. We lost count. So
It doesn't matter. It's every Wednesday unless we say it's not, right?
yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you so much.
I forgot to say something. We have WhatsApp Ask Me Anythings in different languages now. Email me if you want to know what the links are. That's all.